Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Lori, and this is the last episode of this installment of the Living a Fulfilled Life with Mind, Body, Spirit, Soul connection, right? Really, it's mind, body, spirit, but soul too, right? And I wanted to talk to you and kind of bring them all into base to kind of give you an idea of what my day would traditionally look like. Again, it's going to change. I mean, it's seriously, I don't want to be like, this is what I do at this moment in time, but the beginning part kind of is the same. Okay. So in the morning, you've been sleeping. If you're lucky, you've been sleeping. If not, you had that broken sleep. But this is how I'm going to get my mind, body, spirit all together and then have it remain. So as a person who has struggled tremendously from anxieties, depressions, ADHDs, OCDs, PTSDs, anything with a letter, I'm alphabet girl. I notice my cycles. You have to be very clear with your cycle, which is where that mood journal, the 5th journal, is your mood journal. And that's where you don't just say I'm in a bad mood or I'm sad. You describe what that feels like. And then you're able to see what your patterns are, and it's really good for your doctor. So that 5th journal, and I have a video here on YouTube on the 5 journals. And that's right, 5, not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5. There's actually more that I use too, but we'll start you there. And so in the morning, I kind of know, like I can kind of see where my cycles go. Typically it's always going from winter to spring, right? Where I live, it goes cold. You know, it's like you think people will be like, oh my God, it's spring. I feel so much better. No, I kind of go through this funk, right? And then now I'm kind of like in one still, but kind of going through it in the summer. So I have them about 3 or 4 times a year, not so much in the fall though. So probably 3 times a year. And last year was just twice, but when I go through them, they're about 5 to 6 weeks where it's really difficult for me to stay on task. Not so much with clients or like this, but like in my own personal life. Hard for me to stay on task, feel that lack of energy. I say that because it's not motivation. But if you're going to use that word, yeah, lack of that, don't feel like doing anything. And then that's where I'm going to have to up my game even more. So instead of journaling just in the morning in my gratitude journal, sometimes I'll do it 2, 3, or 4 times in a day. You heard me. See, you have to know that when you don't feel like doing something is when you need that alignment all the more. You got to push yourself through that. So to connect the mind, body, spirit, when I get up in the morning, I've said this before, but I'll go through it again. When I get up in the morning, let's say I'm laying in bed. Okay, so we're going to pretend I'm laying in bed. I stretch, deep, deep breath. I do that big girl stretch. And then I say, I am capable of handling anything that the day sends my way, and I only ever have today. It's a great mantra. You can steal that one. You can have whichever one you want. You can make your own. I am capable of handling anything that the day sends my way, and I only ever have today. Okay? So then I go, okay. So I do a couple more breathings. I kind of tense all my muscles. It's just something that I do. Sometimes I'll dry brush. Dry brushing is amazing. I'll show you that process. That's when I get up out of bed. Then I typically go to the bathroom, brush my teeth, do all that stuff. I try to move my body, right? So then what I'll do is I go downstairs, feed the cats typically, and then I decide if I'm going to go on some kind of an exercise, okay? Typically, it might be my Peloton bike or my Peloton tread. Today I went for a walk because sometimes when I'm in those funks, it's difficult. And I had that tooth removed. Remember, I had that tooth removed, and it was fine. I didn't have any issue, but they wanted me to like kind of not do a lot of lifting or anything just to keep that good. So it's fine. And today was just, I noticed that the longer I take a break, right, the longer my break is, the longer that break is going to live, right? It's kind of really counterproductive in ways. Like you're like, okay, well, if my house was spotless and clean and organized, it's almost like you can keep that clean. But it's the overwhelm that you get yourself caught up in. That's why you need the micro goals. That's why you need the habit stacking. That's why your girl is here. And this is something I do every day. It's where the journals are going to come into play. So if I get active, and then if I'm not active, I'm just going to go straight into the journaling. That's where I'm doing my gratitude journal, 10 minutes every single day. And then if there's something negative I have to put in there or positive, I will, but I typically just journal as needed the rest of the time. And then my data dump journals by the bed. If my mood is off like it has been, I will dump exactly what it is that I'm feeling. And I like to chart it so I can see how long this cycle is lasting, right? You don't try to avoid the cycle. Don't be like, oh my God, I don't want to feel this way. Okay, but you're here now. What are you going to do about it? You're feeling how you feel. It's not facts anyway. And you got to get yourself active, right? I like to snack a little bit. So I have like my pumpkin seeds on my desk. I like to have my 0 sugar Coke or Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper is my favorite. And I just enjoy myself, right? I do. right? So I sit there and typically I'll have my coffee in the morning. I'll sit there, I'll do my journaling, I get connected, and I'm reminded of like, hey, it's not all bad. Like just because I'm in a bad space like a weird space, doesn't mean that it's negative, right? So I'm going to sit here in this space, and I do. So I like to sit. Now I also do my cards. I told you I do my tarot cards, I do my angel cards, I do my oracle cards, I do all of that. I look at my schedule the night before so I know what time I got to get going. These are typically all, I mean, I'm telling you, this could be, if in fact I'm going to work out too, this could be a 2-hour morning. That means you got to get up earlier. Now, you don't have to do it on the same level I do. If I'm not working out, it's still an hour or so because I'm going to spend a good amount of time. I spend a little bit more than 10 minutes on gratitude. That's a bare minimum. And if I'm in a bad headspace or a weird headspace, I'm going to just pull out my negative journal and just keep it going. And I like to keep it on my desk if I'm in a mood because I might have to do that 6 times throughout the day in between clients. It's okay. But I'm connecting my mind, body, and spirit every single day. Mind, body, spirit, soul, every single day. And guess what? I'm going to have to rerun that again tomorrow. And I'm going to have to rerun that again the next day. And rerun that again the next day. Whether I feel like it or not, it's nobody else's problem. It's mine. So I got to get it together. But you have to be consistent in that. So when one thing is off, right? So you guys know I do a lot of energy work. I do chakra balancing. I'm moon breathing naked. Like if I know where I'm lacking, and you'll get yourself to the place where you'll know if it's your mind, because they're all connected, right? But you'll know, do you have a stronger lean on like are you feeling more anxious? Do you feel more sedentary? Do you feel more spiritually disconnected? So you have to be honest with yourself and not will that stuff away. You're going to have to keep it real with yourself, and you have to know these things. This is a daily practice, and it will be a daily practice for the rest of your life. So if you're waiting to feel ready and you're waiting to do all of those things, it's going to be problematic. I am working on, and it's been a labor of love, like I was saying, it's been a couple years. And I'm still working on it. It's actually seeming effective, but I'm working on a program that's going to help you not feel overwhelmed with like your stuff, like, like not being tidy enough or not being whatever your enough is on people who struggle with these cycles and or ADHD. A lot of things I thought was working was not working. And sometimes what I didn't think was working is. So I'm sampling things out. I've been doing this for a few years. Hopefully it'll be a program that I can offer you guys at some point in time. That's my goal, but we'll see. I'm not just going to throw that out there half-ass. And what works for me may not work for you, but it'll give you another tool. Read a book a week, or even if you can't read a whole book, read a few pages a day, a few pages a week, even if you like reading. I just downloaded another, like self-help is great, but you can self-help yourself to like oblivion. So I like a lot of murder and true crime. So I just downloaded an Audible book by, with like Jesse from, what's the word? The meth people. Oh my God, I cannot think right now. You're probably telling me on the other end. Yeah, from there. And so, so I just downloaded that book, and I like to listen to that to escape. I like to crochet. You got to find yourself a hobby that doesn't include other human beings. Doesn't have to be an expensive hobby. You could be coloring. Matter of fact, I did that the last 2 nights instead of crochet. I did color something on my iPad, but I also like curse word coloring books. Find something that's going to connect your mind, body, spirit, but be willing to do it every day, even when you don't feel like doing it. Obviously, if you're sick and you can't function, I got it. But I'm saying in any other way, okay? And when you do that and you get very real that you're going to go forward and backwards in your moods, forward and backwards in your progress, mind, body, spirit, soul connection. When one is off, they're all off. Don't try to compensate over here when this is here. And the only person who's in control of that is you. When you have that, that is life fulfillment.